seeing it throughout the tournament quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's probably the strongest pick of that when played.
Let's see. So Justin gets a good spawn here. And this is what he should be doing. Like, he should be fighting me. Let's see if, like, space work. Okay, good. It's working in. He should be fighting me from a distance where he can, like, deal damage. And then if I try to charge him, like, he can, like, easily get away and avoid me. Because he wants to bait it out so that he can deal max damage after. But, unfortunately, he sticks around too long in this fight. Like, once he gets, like, knocked out of here, he needs to just accept that, okay, I can't really fight in this enclosed area now, especially since I had rockets. And really, he just needed to start going to the left. Like, as soon as the first rocket missed, just start going to railgun, get the other armor that's over there, just accept it, and move on with your life. But because he's, like, trying to stick around to, like, bait too much damage, I end up hitting him with a good splash rocket, which then I know that, like, I just need to go in. Like, I still have, like, you could see my stack up here. I'm, like, really stacked, like 100, 130, something like that, and charge, and it doesn't matter that he's got spit, because I've dealt enough damage leading up to this encounter that it's time to just go in and kill him. Because even if I take damage here, guess what? I just said he needed to go to rail to go get the armor that's over there anyway. So even if I take a lot of damage and get the frag, it's okay. I'm going to be able to stack up right afterwards. So I move in, hit the charge, easy follow-up rocket, and there I didn't take too much damage because of the timing of when I hit him and when he was trying to deal damage to me. And so I thought that it was just best to go secure center position on the map and just try to deny him weapons and figure out what's the best course of action between heavy and mega, coming up in like 10 seconds. So see, I'm already back up to practically starting stack. A little bit above that now, so I'm gonna choose to favor the heavy here, because I know that there's a little time between heavy and mega, so I'm gonna get the heavy here and see if I can fight for mega a little bit and see how it goes. And then based off his positioning, I decided, oh, it's whatever. I'm gonna go get rail. I'll have all the guns so that we're even, and I'll, like, in this matchup, you kind of gotta, unless like the soar lag is messing up, you gotta wait till your charge comes back up. Because you either need to be able to use the charge to secure items, because there's a few, like, at heavy, there's a few different routes you can take where you can just take the speed, like, over the gap, and it won't drop you to the ground, and you can collect the heavy and be on your way. And you're taking, like, minimum damage while you're stealing it. Or sometimes, like, if they're on mega too early and they spit at the tele exit, that doesn't matter then. Because you come through with the charge, and even if you, like, activate a spit, you're taking reduced damage on your way to them, where they have nowhere to really dodge at the mega health. And so you can initiate good fights that way. So unless you get an overwhelming advantage based off of, you know, them giving you free rails or they run into free rockets, you kind of just want to wait till it comes back up so that you have that security blanket going for you.
Rapha managed to pick up the high ground. Let's see where it could be coming from. Actually, it goes on that light jump pad. The LG is coming from both players. Both quite similar step.
Some good LG from him, which is why I'm starting to, like, back out. So I take this route because from here, after all that damage, if he decides to be aggressive at heavy, I can listen out for where he's going, and then I can go to mega. And if he's around mega and I hear him, then guess what I do? I just go to heavy. So then I use the charge to secure this, just in case that he, like, went too aggressive. And now I'm just trying to deal as much damage as I can. And I get pretty lucky with that through the great shot there. They're just looking for free damage as he's going to rocket. It's, like, totally fine to leave mega at my back because there's no way I can die. And so now he's just in a really shitty situation as well, because I know that there's 13 seconds coming up before the next heavy, and I grabbed the light armor that's down there by the window where he is relatively soon before then, like within like 4 or 5 seconds. So I know that's not up yet. So he's going to be waiting there doing absolutely nothing. So it allows me to go over to the rail, and I catch him going for it because he was panicking to find some resources, and I get a free kill. And so now my focus is, okay, you know, he's likely going to spawn near heavy. I can't really get there, so I want to get as near to base stack as possible. And then the likelihood is I need to see if I can stall him from getting mega, from going from heavy to mega. And if I can't, then make him pay the ultimate price for collecting it. So even if it becomes 3-1, he gets the kill, but he's really weak then. But I hear him there at rail, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, he decided he didn't want heavy, so now I can go for it. And then based off of all of that, I can start like positioning myself to get mega as well. And so there I managed to do a lot of damage and escape. It could have possibly went south for me if he hit like one more better rocket, but overall it was like good to go in there, especially once he like I caught him coming back and I caught him with nail spam. So it's just good to take that fight, and now I have all these resources to back up onto. And look at how healthy I am compared to him, and guess what? He ain't got shit. So I catch him going for literally the only area of the map he can kind of recoup from. Otherwise, he's just idle doing nothing. And then that's what happens in this matchup is if you're not taking the right fight so that you both are constantly weak, okay, or that you're trading your life to get control, because like most tank matchups you need to be like, okay, I need to die here so that I gain 2 kills. So that I'm like healthy off the spawn, I get 2 kills, and we're kind of like trading back and forth like that. And if you don't, and you find situations like I did there where you can back off, like you make them weak and you back off to get the items, you become so tanky and they just can't do anything and you just run them over because they're just so idle on the map, and the amount of damage that they have to output to like make anything work for them is astronomical. So I get a free kill, I'm back up to base stack, and I know that I have to play for heavy and then mega. So I start moving into position. I still have all the ammo necessary to take any fight that I need. And so now I'm like taking this, and I'm just mixing up my routes, like on how to go back to mega and like listening out for him where he might be. And so I catch him here. I do a lot of damage, and as you can see through this fight, like we'll back up through it, you can see like how wildly like my shotgun, that's because of the positive Excel from Windows 11. Like I'm trying to move my mouse as least as possible and just use my movement to kind of aim for me with how ridiculous it feels. But you can see like how wildly it goes in the fight again. Like there, I would have normally flicked, would have been like pretty much right on him, and it went like all the way almost to LG. So like that's we're having to play with, like for some of us there. And so I'm just trying to like stall him, maintain position for this mega. And I hit a good entry rocket, and because I hit the good entry rocket, I continue to take the fight for the armor. If I hadn't hit it, I probably would have tried to like rail him and like drop down and make it difficult for him to deal more damage and just try to like play for a fight later. But I know because of he's just off the spawn, at most he's 100 health, 125, and I hit a rocket that's around 70 some damage. Because of collecting the mega and then potentially collecting this during the fight, I can outstack him and I should be able to beat him. And even if I don't, I know there's a long ass time before the heavy comes up that I should be able to play the situation properly and then either trade my life to try to get control back if I can find a chance, or just try to survive and play and protect the lead. So I get the kill. I'm looking for spawn stuff. Okay, I hear him go through the portal, so I'm just like, all right, let me just get all of this stuff. And I just decide, you know what, just take the victory. Like, you know, you did a bunch of damage before. It's not worth fighting you for that heavy. I don't think I can get into position to like trade enough damage to where it's going to be worth it. So I'm going to try to get my charge back and just get some armor here. And say, okay, I've got a 6 frag lead. Let me just make it so that whatever fight we have now, hopefully I can, you know, really make you pay for it. And after like 1 or 2 kills, you're going to lose control anyway. I just don't want him to get a situation where he could start going on a run for like 4 frags before I can do anything, and then the lead is cut down. So that was a good catch from him onto me. I didn't hear him like the way that he dropped down, and I didn't see him. And I could have potentially dealt more damage with the SG, but I didn't. And so what's really important here is I know the timing of the mega, and he's going to do one of 2 things. He's either going to bait the rocket launcher and try to fight me, but I did decent damage before it comes up here in this fight, right? So one of 2 things. Either he's going to be at mega and I get a free rocket and I start like running around the map just trying to get weapons, or I make him really weak if he tries to fight me at Rocket, and then I'll be able to definitely contest for the next heavy. So it's a win-win here. If I die, it's okay, as long as I'm just constantly dealing damage here, which I do. He's really weak, so it forces him to have to go for this now. And I thought that he would be at a different position there, so I was going to go try to get LG. But he ends up catching me for good damage, and so now I've actually lost out on my opportunity to get heavy because of a good play from him. And mixing up his routes on the map and where he's going and like being confusing with sound, which that's something that Sorlag is really good at, because it can be difficult to tell where she is vertically all the time, and you can kind of curve yourself with the air control to arrive at, you know, different levels. So I have to back off, and I just collect the armors on the rail side of the map. I have some guns now. And then here, I don't know what happened, but it's just scale barrier things. I tried to charge and watch what happens. And it just stops as if it hit an invisible wall. And yeah, and you can even see on his face, he's like, what just happened?
Should be able to walk away with this heavy nice and clean, and he's also spotted Rapha down there in the courtyard. Rush comes out, he gets retracted.
So yeah, I could have potentially traded a lot of damage there, but for some reason the Bull Rush acted as if the rocket was a wall, which I don't think I've seen that happen. So, yeah. So, no, trust me, I was not on the wall at all. So, unless my hitbox became 3 times its size that day, like at the end of the Grinch, you know, then you tell me. But so because of that, I don't get to trade as much damage. And now this is actually at the point where I said I want to avoid him getting like 4 to 5 kills, because he's got good control and he can manipulate the fights the way that he wants to, and just constantly trying to keep me weak. I need to find like good chances to trade damage to get it back. That's good from him to try to get some free damage here, because he knows I don't have the charge, because he heard it during the last fight, so he knows I can't just get away. So this is good from him to try to keep pressure up. He needed to be more aggressive in this situation. Like, he needed to try to catch me out in this area, knowing I likely wouldn't have been able to get the vials in time to get charge back. And I would have liked to seen him like put more pressure on this teleporter than trying to like play it safe with Tribolt. But because he did that, it allows me to escape, and I just get out of the situation. I've got a couple guns now. And again, the biggest thing is, like, right now, I need to try to find and, like, either get good damage and stall him for a pickup, or after he's picked something up, I need to take a fight and make him weak before the next rotation. So I've done a lot of good damage. Like, he just was trying to force the fight, and he took too long. He was taking way too long to get to the area to fight me, because he might have thought I had to charge up already, but I didn't. If he would have established position correctly and like realized like I can still bully this guy, and he's here way too early for Mega, he could have done something different. But he's like slowly allowing me to get like decent position. Then he tries to come through like way too late, and now I'm already at a spot where I can like defend myself. If I was still here, this would be perfect for him. He could LG the shit out of me. If I drop down, then he like moves over to like, he jumps over here, or he goes down to shotgun, and then he could still make it to Mega before me, even if I charge. But because I'm over here, now I have a good spot where like he can't really push into me that easily, and it's more predictable to hit him with rockets. So I switch, and I've popped him up, hit him twice, and then he's actually lucky that I don't even hit him in midair here. But I'm still able to just finish up the kill after. And boom. That's it. So the worst case scenario for him happened, where he traded no damage.
Santa.
You can't have that happen in these matchups. And that was, like I said, like the situation before at Heavy, he was a little too passive, like going in there. And then the same thing here, he just like wasn't, his internal clock on when my ability is going to come back up was off. And that affected his decision-making and the opportunity in the game where he needs to keep the pressure on, keep it going, so that he could keep me weak enough so that even if I do end up charging him, He can get the kill anyway, and even if I deal damage, he has items to collect and to stack back up after. But because he messed that up, it allowed me to get into decent position and stall him long enough between the heavy and the mega, and I could make a decent fight for him.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. I thought they should have used that opportunity to get the rail.
And so there, I felt like it's more important after that rail to not look for more damage, but to go start like securing the area around heavy. So I tried to catch him going for the armor there. I didn't, so I'm like, okay, I can RJ back to beat him in time because I'm so stacked that I don't have to worry about it. And so I'm RJing towards the portal. And his LG is so good here that it pins me up immediately, which usually won't happen in this case. Typically, the player that RJs at that speed will just go through the portal and they can carry it on towards the heavy. But here I just keep defending the angle that he has to look at to deal the most damage. And so I end up dealing a shit ton of damage, and then just there it's just all about guessing games. Like, is the person going to jump for the heavy? Are they going to come back through the portal? Are they just going to peek the ledge? And you just have to get your intuition right on like what to do. And so I just thought the best would be like to fake going for the armor in that situation, come back through the portal, and thankfully he was looking the other way, and I managed to pick up the kill. So here I'm still doing all right. I just need to figure out what he's doing. I'm not even necessarily going into this situation looking to kill him. I'm just like, okay, I think I can have a decent like fight where I could deal some damage and just make sure I keep exact timing on the mega health. But because of like the way he entered the room, I hit a nice rocket. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what happens here. And so I pick up a kill that I didn't even expect to have there. So I'm in pretty good situation right now. The only thing is I just got to stay out of a bunch of rail battles with him at the moment. Because that's the strength that he has. He spawned at rail side. I need to make the game about what I have. So I'm not going through the portal because I respect the spit and like the LG damage that'll happen afterwards. And then if I were to go back through the portal, it would just make me super predictable to go for the health. So I'm just trying to deal max damage with shotgun here. And I don't deal too much, but it's okay. Like, I'm protecting my position. Like, he can't really push me, or he'll take a shit ton of damage, and then based off where the fight is, I'll likely spawn at LG and get mega. So he's like, I don't want to take that fight. So I'm just playing the clock now, just extending the clock, making sure that I'm playing for the percentages. So I know, like, I can't contest mega. It's okay. I have a rough guesstimate of when it is, and I just want to make sure that I'm difficult to kill now.
You've seen what can happen if Everless does pick up that frag. You can convert it into control.
Okay, so I'm like defending myself in the likely positions he's coming from, and because I've dealt all this damage now, especially that rocket right there, I can start fighting for this.
Slowed the pace down. You can see him playing the pillars, playing the angles.
Really nice rockets from him. And here I just like in the spur of the moment, like after I took the rocket, it's like something with another champ I wouldn't have been able to do. But because of how Scalebearer's like movement works and you can like change your direction almost instantly, it's better to use shotgun in this case because you can be more unpredictable with your dodging and like correct your aim with flicking.
You can convert it into control.
And so because I switched to shotgun here, because he left, because I know that I can't just continue with LG and to fight him, so I'm either trying to deal max damage or like just steal the heavy and die. And there, you know, my best case scenario is to get as close as possible and be unpredictable. It manages to make him miss a rail. And so then here I take another weird angle, and I get lucky to come out with this fight after the rockets that he hit, but you got to make the most of the champions that you're using.
And just the rail, just to put him to bed pretty much. And now, just over 4 minutes. Oh, even then the direct straight afterwards.
Just pretty standard stuff. Like, he's having to push over aggressively. And so I was just picking up free damage, stealing the items. And there it's better to like try to deal damage and reset than it is to keep it going. And like there, I hear that he's there. I know Heavy's still up. But a perfect rocket jump with him using the air control allows it so that I don't even get to deal damage. If he was playing any other champion and tried the RJ there, I would have just lit him up because I would have been in position in time. The angle that he would have had to take to get it, He would have taken a lot of damage, but he did the exact right thing to get out of there.
Multitude of different choices here. You can go aggressive, you can sacrifice his body, like just doing damage, and this is where it becomes really hard for Effortless.
So he's making some good moves throughout this game. It's just there are a few very key situations where it's like you have to know that you have to be super aggressive or super defensive. And because he's chosen incorrectly, he's paid the ultimate price. And he's had a couple deaths where he hasn't been able to deal max damage like during those fights because of those split second like indecisions, like doesn't know whether to be aggressive or not. And it's really important in these matchups to know like when you have to trade your life away.
Picking up all the items, still segregated, still waiting to go for that heavy, going for it early, just like Effortless is at the moment.
And so here the idea was to pick up the armor, because then I'd be really stacked and then go in to fight him. Because either I catch him over here or he rocket jumps up and I stop the charge and I just LG the shit out of him. But because I miss that here, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to... This is going to look silly, but I'm just going to work my way back around then. Just screw that. Just get it and get out of here. Get myself a better angle for this fight. Yep. And barely missed the damage there, but it's okay. Making myself difficult to kill.
But in the end, Rapha does manage to survive.
And just focusing on, okay, I know he's going to get all the items, but just get charge back so I can hopefully create a close fight where I can like trade a bunch of damage again.
Attack, retreat, do whatever he needs to do.
Just need to leave.
The latter option is trying to skirt himself away and open up a rail angle.
And just be ready to use charge for like if he overcommits, use it for damage. Or if he like attacks at a good angle, then I could use it to escape.
Nice read.
Again, Effortless. Trying to make something of this, but even with the bigger stack.
And that charge could have been a really good attack, but I undercut it and hit the wall there. So instead of like getting the good like rocket damage and then, you know, charging into him and getting him stuck here, it's just we're about 50-50 now. I just have the better position with rocket spam. So I know, okay, I just need to protect that angle as best I can. Just start backing up and concede the mega.
His ammo management looking very solid already. Just
so again, I'm going to protect the lead. I'm just trying to collect files again. And just accept that I can't get for heavy, but we'll be about even for the next mega. So if I get position, figure out what he's doing, I can probably turn this around.
Impossible as the clock is ticking away. Just about to hit that 2 minutes to go mark. And Rapha is in absolutely zero rush to make a move.
Yep. And he hasn't gone through the portal because he doesn't have spit to like kind of counter the charge in any way, and he knows that I'm likely up there, and I can just shotgun charge shotgun, or same with like rockets. I can combo with a lot of burst, and so he doesn't have a lot of speed to kind of like get through the area. He's just kind of stuck doing nothing, unfortunately.
Just play the item. Didn't even need to own both of them at this point.
And so I just get the mega by just super simple positioning and understanding like the rotation and what I should do, and manage to get control back. And now it's going to be difficult for him to collect this heavy. Oh man, that's crazy rocket.
From the low ground. He's going to even try to retreat to hit Effortless, which he does.
And he's literally trapped in there. He can't really go anywhere. There's not a lot of ways to dodge. Even if he dodges me, I'll be up close and personal with the guns that I want to finish the kill.
The bull rush to
that'll be
finish
that.
Off the lizard. The bull reigns supreme.
Just simple catch him off the spawn. You got LAN LG.
Took a little bit of time, but there's like Rapha's got full map control, stabilizing beautifully at the moment. Seems to be a similar situation to what we see normally in the Quake Pro League, just replicas so far. Good rail though. Managed to dive in,
almost.
That mega actually managed to sneak away and be able to steal that. And now Rapha just still.
But yeah, I think the keys to this game were he was making some good moves from time to time, but in this matchup, when you like the times that you have to put the pedal to the metal and you have to be aggressive, he wasn't aggressive enough to keep trying to push his control and to get the kills back when he had the advantages. And then just sometimes he needed to play a little more safe, like just deal some damage and like be able to leave so that I can't like aggress with my movement or with the charge. But he just got trapped in bad positions, and then it ended up leading to some free kills that he didn't need to give up.
Keeping Effortless on his toes here.
He's just being aggressive. He's just cutting off all resource angles and just
Yeah.
forcing Effortless to play
Rest
passive
is
when he's the one that
obviously
needs to make
garbage
the
time.
move. 1 minute to go. Once again, it is obviously game over for Effortless, but a really strong mid game up. Had that comeback on the verge of a comeback in the earlier stages. But Rapha very
Forecast,
shut
thanks
them
for the
down and
13-month
showed us
Prime
why
Gaming
he does
resub.
like
Appreciate it.
so much.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you see these rockets from Rapha, defensive, predictive, or some of his aggressive rockets. He's hit so many directs this game, and
Hey, Chance, how you
must be
doing?
frustrated to a certain degree, surely.
Howdy, Agent.
Just thinking, why me? Like on a number of times.
When the new
here,
season
making
starts
the
for
top
QPL, I mean, they'll
four
make an
night,
announcement.
but yeah,
So
it's just a matter of time. Finds him anyway. Shit. Some star points.
sometimes
there
you
from
just
Rapha,
gotta
I like it.
squish.
That might be a first that I've seen that before.
I think
This
so
Quake
too.
Pro League just flattened him from above. 16 to
That's a good
4.
question.
I think
Effortless has good
slightly
LG. Did you make any
flattering to
adjustments
Rapha,
towards it, or
but
it doesn't
a
bother
demanding
you?
performance.
It's about like you play, especially with the fact that my sensitivity didn't feel normal this day. You have to play the first few minutes, kind of gauging how.
Stay safe out there.
Yo, Zyle, thanks for the 43-month resub. But yeah, to continue to answer your question, Aaron, you kind of have to play and get a feel for how you both are playing, like through the first couple minutes, like who's hitting harder, what, just what do you feel good with on the day, and then a lot of times, like you could fight with LG against people like him, but you have to take fights where you know you're going to hit just as hard. So you'll be taking a lot of damage, but you know that you're going to be dishing a lot out. So like super predictable LG fights. You don't want to take the ones that require you to out dodge or be a little fancier, because you know that he's likely going to win those. So the way that you try to shut that down and stop him from doing that are good rocket spam, like from holding certain angles, denying angles based off the spam that you're using, keeping your distance. So you want to either play really up close in his face with shotgun and rockets, or you want to play super far. You don't want to play this mid-range game where he can like LG and rail you. Like you want to make it all about rail or shotgun and rockets. And so that's kind of how you have to adjust your game. And thankfully in this matchup, you want to do that a lot with Skill Bearer, because it's really good to, and typically in the matchup, that's what you want to do. That's where Skill Bearer thrives, is right up in your face. So yeah. But yeah, keep going.
It certainly was. 10 seconds left. He managed to add one more. It will be 7.
Yeah, Deep Embrace will be next.
Like 6.
Almost can't pick them up.
This in this kind of match. So it's a question mark for most of his matches, at least.
Yeah, we're in sporadic key positioning it. So we'll
Either deal with Timmy the Turret to this point.
there's nothing Effortless can do except try and hit just as hard.
Right, exactly. We're going to go into the
Yep.
second.
So in this
now.
matchup, the keys to victory are, if I get control as Ranger, I need to use my rocket jump passive ability to be very mobile on the map and just constantly keep pressure on the Eisen player. That's what I need to do, and I need to either, just save the orb pretty much for securing items. So you want to do it for securing items, or if they completely overcommit and you can burst them down and kill them, then that's fine. But there's a couple purposes that you want to do that, is because you're saving the orb to secure items mid-fight so that his turret doesn't turn fights around from you having to take it out. Because sometimes, if let's say he misplaces the turret and thinks that it's a good idea to put it on the heavy platform, you can telefrag the turret. You will deal enough damage with the telefrag to eliminate the turret. So you can potentially collect the heavy at the same time that you eliminate the turret. If he's trying to use the turret as a defense, like if you send like a rocket and the orb there at the same time, you can eliminate the turret and possibly do splash damage to him at the same time with, the rocket and the orb itself when you telefrag in. You try to. So you have to try to look at it that way. And then there's going to be other times where if he places the turret and you don't have the orb, it could really put you in a really bad situation. Whereas sometimes you can just orb past the ground that's good for him, and then you can get into good position to then fight for other items. Where what he needs to do is he needs to kill you. He needs to play a very slow game for a while and just keep Ranger from railing him. So he wants to play the heavy side of the map because it does two things. You want to collect armor on this map because there's not a lot of vials, and the armor's replenish the cooldown of the turret, so it allows you to use more throughout the game. And then the way to try to win as Aizen in this matchup is eventually, if you get a clean kill, then you set up a turret at a really annoying respawn location so that it will always help you. And like you can like reforce spawns and they're already taking turret damage, and then they're not looking at you, and it can end up for like super free kills. That's the way to be aggressive with Aizen, but you don't want to run around as much with Aizen on this map as you do with Ranger. You want to play a little more like stationary and zoney, whereas with Ranger, you're wanting to be aggressive and to control as much of the area of the map as fast as possible, and to just constantly feel like you're choking out the opponent.
Now between
So he does a pretty standard start here. Just goes and gets the heavy right away, which is totally fine. Gets the rail. And now he's like taking a position where he can't really be LG too badly. And he can use the turret to help him if he needs to during the fight. It's just, yeah. Now he messed up that turret. You have to throw it like lower. The turret has to enter at like the bottom of the turret of the portal for it to go through there. I personally really like Quake Champions, Stickman Sham. I like the diversity and like play styles and whatnot that you have to get good at. So yeah, I mean, I've played, you know, Quake 3, Quake Live for years and years, and Quake Champions has been a good change. And I like the fact that you get like all the movement styles from all the Quakes in the game. Like that's been really satisfying to me, is to have to be good at all those different movements. But yeah, I think the problem is because when you look at it, when it comes like playoff time, you end up seeing, I think for the last few stages of QPL, the game has been so balanced, and you end up seeing every champion played at some point throughout best of threes and best of fives. And you obviously have some that are more favored than others, but the fact that you end up seeing every champion picked at some point is pretty crazy, that the game is that balanced in that aspect. Whereas if you allowed mirror matchups, then a lot of the time, then you wouldn't see as many champions played at all. It would just be the same. It would be the same shit over and over, because a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people would just default to playing the same champion to kind of counter it, instead of like playing a different one where like it can, you know, it like balances out between the strengths and weaknesses of them. So yeah, but I like it the way that it is.
And of course to try and throw Rapha off, but yeah, it just.
So yeah, so here he's like stuck in a bad spot because I know he doesn't have LG to keep me from pushing. And so, as you see here, I know he doesn't have the turret as well. So I've just maintained high ground. As soon as I hear that the pad is going, I want to start like seeing how this fight will go, because he doesn't have many avenues to escape, and I have the orb advantage now. So he hits a rail, and as soon as he decides to go here, I switch to shotgun, because now it's close range fighting. If I catch a good shotgun and catch him like falling down the stairs or like trying to drop off incorrectly, I can orb for the kill.
But yeah.
And see, I'm just getting like, all he can do there is rail me and rocket me, and it's hard to use rockets at that spot. So he tried going for Hail Mary rockets, doesn't pay off. I get really good burst damage with 2 shotgun shots, and I just close the gap with orb to finish. And he's lucky to have done as much damage as he did there.
Nice and easy. Got plenty of time to get across.
Yep, so now
major item he chooses. Effortless is struggling to get off.
I see where he is. I'm trying to keep him from getting the heavy, because I just collected more armor, and if I can collect the heavy, then he doesn't have any armor left on the map. He can only play for the Mega, and the Mega's on the other side. And so here I don't have rail, so I just keep like trying to make it a close range fight. If he hits a good rail and he could jump to heavy, then whatever, I'll just go get the Mega. But if I can close the gap here, I can get another frag, then I can get heavy, and then I can get rail for myself.
Rapha's got his prey trapped, he's trying to run away. Can't hit any rails at this
point. Here I just drop down right away to like, because it's not worth trying to trade 10 to 15 damage with heavy machine gun to get railed here. But as soon as I drop down here, I can try to like gauge off of where he's going, and I can maybe cut him off and deal more damage and kill him.
By a rail.
So I decide to just say, whatever, it's better to collect the heavy now, go back and collect it safely that I know that he's like up by heavy machine gun, and get myself a railgun and get ready for these next light armors and try to contest him at those. And be like, I'm going to be like 275 to his 175.
Still the lead, only a minute has
Okay, so I drop down.
Get some of these rails.
It's like really risky for him to stay here.
Found as of yet, still misses the third one.
I don't do any damage, but it's okay. I had safe attempts at trying to deal damage there. If I dealt any, I would go in for the kill. I didn't. It's not the end of the world. I'm still in control. I still have high ground position. I'm trying to search for him.
The thing is now that he's keeping Effortless on his toes. Hasn't hit anything as of yet.
And I'm the one that can play unpredictable here. I can listen out for him. I can figure out where he's going, what he needs to play for, and try to cut him off and just keep the advantage going.
Showing that map presence, showing that map dominance. Both items have up. I've been up for a little bit of time here, and it's a matter of who's going to go for what and where.
Yeah, but this is the problem with the ice. Effortless has no way of actually getting to the item safely.
So here I decide to back off. As soon as I've heard the jump pad, I'm like, well, I don't want him to maybe get over there. So I just decide to go get the heavy.
Maneuver Rapha and try and play around it.
Go get the heavy, cut him off after Mega, and figure out what to do here.
Effortless can't even get onto the high ground safely because Rapha just cutting off all of the angles. There comes the turret.
And so here I know as soon as he lays the turret, I have about 1.5 seconds that I can fight. It's like 1.5 to 2 seconds before the turret will start to actually target me. So that's why you see me fighting for a little bit. I'm like just trying to judge like whether I should back off the rocket, whether I should take this pillar. And based off what he did, I took the pillar position.
Just gonna dodge away and try and
so I've taken some damage.
Does force some
I'm looking for him to like get some health in case I did more than I thought. Oh, and this is just really random. It should have been a fight that I should win. He expected me to be in a different position and like working around towards the top for that other armor. And he just luckily gets the frag here.
But somehow converts.
But it's not the end of the world, because I know that he's weak. I'm chasing after him. I know he doesn't have any more health to collect here.
And literally just going straight in on him at the moment.
And if he goes up the pad, he's dead.
Does finish him off with the machine gun.
So now I know that he's likely, because I'm at rocket, he's likely going to spawn over at the shotgun. So I have to play for the heavy.
And I like that from Effortless, he did get the mega spawn, but
so I do that, collect the health, see what he's doing, and I know that based off his position that Mega is still likely up.
Effortless going to be in a very good spot.
So I still have to play it safe. He's looking to kill me. He's doing a good job of like trying to find me and tie this game up. But like right now is when he should go back and go get the Mega, because then there would be a huge gap between the Mega and the heavy, and he has enough time to traverse the map and kind of bully me out of there. But again, this is like that situation on Veil. He had a decent advantage, and he didn't pick the right time to like start being aggressive like with positioning on the map and his control. And so he plays it a bit more passively here. He goes back to get the Mega. I'm playing and listening out for him. And I know that like based off his position, the only way you can contest this is by showing up late. Showing up late and like rocket jumping. So I know that I'm at least going to be okay now. I shouldn't be, but I can be because he's played the situation incorrectly.
Lifeline for Rapha, because if he hits this next rail, which he doesn't fortunately for Effortless.
But I'm still okay. I can clear his turret, get some health. I'm still at 100 armor.
Here comes Effortless barreling on through. Rapha doesn't got the
and I catch him here like moving through. I was just going to shoot one rocket and see how it goes, and I've managed to deal what? Let's see here.
For Rapha, because if he hits this next rail, which he doesn't fortunately.
He's really healthy here.
He's actually more than well back into this game. He's got back up to the high ground as well. So here comes Effortless barreling on through.
He practically takes it direct. So he's gone from 160, 100 down to 118, 25. So I'm actually ahead now. I have the orb. I can keep bullying him.
Rapha doesn't got the LG either. Effortless knows.
Okay, I know he likely dropped off. So I went to go get myself an LG. And I managed to hit 2 for 2.
But the problem was earlier on, even though...
And here, I don't give a shit about the Mega right now. I want to see if I can deny the rail and potentially get a free kill.
He left the Mega for quite a long time. He couldn't push in and go for Rapha.
And so here, I take the health, RJ up, and he is just so piped. Like,
he knew why he couldn't push and just had to literally hope that Rapha would just push out somehow, some way.
And there I'm going to deny the health again before this comes up.
Effortless, leaving him with nothing.
And he dealt a shit ton of damage, a lot more than anticipated. Because I didn't think that when he was getting the health bubble up top and he was so weak that he would continue peeking because he could die so easily. But that resulted in like the follow-up damage, and I end up getting the kill. But I took a lot more than expected. So he's actually not that bad off the spawn here.
When Rapha has the resources to fall back on. This is
Again, I just spam to make sure that I can go up the pad safely. RJ up to gain position, which is what you've got to do with Ranger in this matchup. Like I said, the keys to winning are utilizing the reduced self-damage to RJ and gain positions that Aizen can't get to as quickly as you. And so just forcing him out of areas so that I can just get super stacked. And so now I know he has LG and Rail, but he doesn't have Rocket yet. So just need to be aware of that. I want to try to force close fights if possible. I was just listening out and guessed the right path that he would take. And that fight works out really well for me. It's actually bad that he dealt damage because guess what? I was overstacked on armor and couldn't deny this.
Does try have a little bit of a peek through that murder
but now that we've had this fight,
now finds him straight away. Comes up with the LG.
I only took one rail, and guess what? I'm back up to full base stack already, and I have enough time to get the Mega, to go back over to the heavy side, and I know that like he has good rocket position, and right here this is like a big point in the game where I know that if I just get super stacked and I'm, about 150, 150, he can't. It takes a shit ton to go right for him in a row. So it's more important for me to focus on getting to the Mega than getting over to the Heavy so that he can't lock me out. And just focus on that kind of control right now.
We've seen it on completely different maps than what we expect, but we have seen it at the Aizen a couple of times on Veil before.
We have. But it takes a
here I'm just trying to like bait out and figure out where he is.
Positional sense to execute. And so far, FLS is doing a good enough job for it. He's slowing down the pace of the game.
That rail means a lot because he can't really,
he is beginning to
can't really contest for this, and stays too long.
Born out of the fact that he just
and now I take the health and take the Mega and catch him up here because I know he needs health. He's going to be one of two places. Well, it could be three. He could double back to the health down by the LG. That's below it at the portal, but then he can't do anything about the Heavy. Or he's going to try to come up here and get these bubbles and hope that he stops me before Heavy, which he can't. He's not going to be able to. Or he's going to go down to Rail. And then I just like aggressively take position and just keep zoning him out and like hopefully chip him down and take the Heavy that way. So he doesn't have many good options, and I catch him up here trying to go for health, get another free kill. And now I'm making sure there's a longer gap between the Mega and Heavy, which gives me more time to get back and forth.
Now this is where Rapha can shine even further.
He's more than confident now to be able to rotate both major items. Setting that delay means he's now got
I know he's above me. I get lucky with that splash damage.
Items and then he can just rotate both.
And I know that Mega's coming up, but he can't beat me to it. He can't beat me to it without like super exposing himself, making him really easy to rail. So I'm just trying to like, find him, deal a bunch of damage. I know I don't need to collect it. I know that he's likely gonna be around here, like trying to cheekily get Heavy or get Rail. So I'm looking for him. I'm like, okay, he probably went with Rail low. So I'm trying to catch him exiting. So I'm either going to catch him at the jump pad like I do here, or if he tries to go back to LG, I'll switch to Rail and deal some exit damage. And then he's back to square one again.
And this is a great flank here from Rapha, just making sure not to make
and
the
assumption. This is just like the unfortunate situation that happens sometimes. And it's why we look for situations, like we look to aggress and take position, and then you have to judge how the fight goes from there. Because as I jump into this area, as he's coming this way, he's already airborne. Like he's already made that momentum shift. Like he's stuck. Like he can't easily like drop down, make the fight more difficult from the bottom area. It's like already caught him mid momentum, and that shit's gonna happen sometimes.
Effortless is going to think that he's going to go top mid, goes round to the shoddy area straight away, and then does catch Effortless off guard. And now Rapha is still pretty weak, but managed to recover quite quickly. Knows that
so here again, I know he doesn't have many weapons. Just trying to keep him from Heavy if I can, because I have all the weaponry. And I know that he's still healthy enough that he might try to contest this, so that's why I'm keeping my distance and not going through the portal and looking to see if I can stop him here.
Yeah, and FLS has done a good job of not only keeping Rapha weak, but also once again stabilizing.
Here I'm just
at the same time. That's also
closing the gap out because it's not likely that he's going to hit 3 tri-bolts in a row to kill me there with the distance and the way the fight goes. So I move at that angle to like catch him if he tries to jump up. If he leaves, he leaves. I force him out.
Each one of these pickups keeps him in the game.
And so even though he gets the mega, it doesn't matter. He has no guns to defend it, to trade. He gets damaged off the spawn. Just everything's going bad to worse for him.
Damage again with that last rocket, but it needs a little bit more on that as Evelyn's trying to figure a way out if he can. It's just not going to happen.
So again, I feel like it's better right now to either catch him here if I like am moving to the rail correctly, like if he's spawning real soon, or it'll force him to spawn at shotgun and then I'll get heavy. I felt it was too greedy right now with the lead and the time left to play for the light armor and then try to go get heavy because I don't have the orb, I just used it. And if he hits me with a rail when I'm at the lower area and I don't hit him, then he's going to be really healthy. Like then that's like the perfect recipe for him to come back, is for me to take damage and have nothing to collect, and for him to be like 100, 150, and he'll have free reign on getting all the guns that he needs. So right here I feel like it's just best to play the percentages to, yeah, sure, I may be only 100 after I get to heavy, but I've denied him rail for now, and I'd rather play off of it that way, play the slower game.
Give me another frag to Rapha's name.
So I get position, I'm trying to hear out for him in case he tries to push. He doesn't, it's okay.
Deep embrace. It's not as
so I'm like, okay, I just need to be wary as I come through here if he set a trap through the pillars, so I'm like,
yeah, full frontal aggression.
Just
normally
playing and like trying to sleuth out where he's like hiding, because he has to do little things to catch me off to come back. So I catch him like waiting behind the pillar to see if I would have dropped to mega.
Range is in the equation. However,
yep, so I'm just
what it is
safely just dealing splash damage
surgical performance from Rapha where
with tri-bolts.
He's doing what he needs to do, slow and steady every
and I'm actually, I was really shocked that he was able to go up the pad that quickly from there and get the right angle to be able to kill me in time. I should have been able to get away safe, get the health, and like be out of LG range, but he manages to get the kill. And here I know I'm going to be able to have the orb if I push towards the vials, because the vials will give back, was it 10%? And each one will give you, so at 10%, since it's 45 seconds, it'll give you 4.5 seconds back. So if you got 9 seconds about, then you can use it. So I know, like, okay, he's not going to be healthy after everything that I've dealt. I know the exact timing on this, and I'm going to have LG and then orb to use. And I catch him, again, I catch him in the air moving with LG so that it's going to be an all-in fight now. And I orb, finish the kill. If I had went there and the vials aren't up, I don't commit for that fight.
I do agree, though. He is dissecting the map perfectly here. Now looking to try and get the flank around, realizes
it's okay. He's got himself some good guns here. He's going to get himself mega, so he's done what he should to try to get back in the game. But I don't have to do too much.
Rapha now isn't going to be on the high ground anymore. Has dropped, waiting for Effortless to make his first move.
And this LG is amazing. Like, I'm pretty stacked here, and he's going to be super vulnerable in the air. And he just melts me.
With the LG, looking to try and do a bit more, but Effortless after that first initial round.
Like, if he got the kill, it's like, it's understandable because he had dealt like decent damage before. But the fact that he got the kill as cleanly as he did is just, you know, hats off to his aim there.
Easily take that engagement, but still got 7 more to find in 2.5 minutes. Again, it's looking very dire for Effortless.
Well, lucky for me, he dropped because that could have turned ugly.
Not giving him
if he hit a bunch of LG and he like had made it onto the platform.
He's allowing Effortless to have control of his items. He's kind of...
I'm like, oh, whatever, you're like going to shotgun, I'm going to get LG, and I'm going to move back over here. Just keep trying to like fake you out, find you.
Certainly not, and just like that, he's got top mid once again.
And he didn't hear me? he like thought I was going to RJ up to the other like place, but because I'm like out of sound range over here, he didn't hear me, so I'm like, oh, he's just standing there.
Okay, I think I don't know what he was playing at then, but he drops down anyway. Still actually.
And there, I just mistakenly dropped because I thought he was going to jump and hit the rail. And there again, though, like off the spawn, I know what he needs. Like he's weak, and he's probably going to go for health. And he's just sometimes he's taking a little bit too predictable pass, and it's allowing me to get back into the game a lot sooner than
Back
usual.
away, but how long for? Picks up the 2 health bubbles. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Left on 26 HP. Has the Mega. There's a little Prezi for him to pick up just to try and finalise things. Goes up top mid. Going to turn.
And here it's fine to trade. I actually want to trade.
Doesn't.
I just want to deal max damage because I know when Heavy's coming up, and he'll likely try to make me spawn at Rocket anyway, so I'll either spawn at Rocket or Rail.
Keeping it respectable.
Now I can zone him out, and I've got control back, and game's over for sure now. I'm not going to do anything to like give up control.
Enough to validate it as a first pick, you know, particularly when Ranger was still available.
And I agree with Zeta6. I don't think Justin should have picked Eisen first.
Effortless is top mid for now, but
Eisen's like a decent pick when this is like the third map.
Effortless needs to play out of his mind.
Not when this is, you know, the first or second map.
RPH Ghost.
It's not going to happen here, but
Casmo,
yes, he
thank you
does,
for
so that's
the
gonna pretty much confirm it.
51-month
Left
resub.
remaining,
Thank you,
but it
thank you.
looks like it is going to be a 2-0 sweep here for Rapha.
But I enjoyed that set. I thought it was well fought throughout, and whilst the score lines on both maps are fairly large, Apple has forced Rapha to play at a very high level, and this is why this particular map was very clinical, and the first map as well. It was a lot closer than it would have seemed. So, got to give kudos to Effortless. I hope he can actually do a good lower bracket run. I still feel that from everyone we've seen, Rapha.
Yeah, if I probably just would have
has looked the strongest.
picked Ranger or Doom and just went with that. But I think he just wanted to try something different.
That's scary for the rest of the bracket.
Because he knows I'm so comfortable in the Ranger Doom matchup.
But a lot of the opponents already dropped down from the losers.
It's like Ranger's just so good here. Like the best champs on this map are Ranger, Doom, Athena, Strogg. Like they're all really, really good, and then there's a couple champs who are like pretty decent behind them, but those are like the top 4. Those are like the best ones to play on the map, and when both of them are available still, you should probably play one or the other.
One more series left remaining.
All right, now I gotta find the game from let's see here. Quiet. I gotta find, is it day 2? Day 2.
So Raze is gonna have to reflect on that, look at the...
Let's see. Looks like it's the end of it, so...
G.
Go back. Okay, go back. Alright, let's see if they bring up the map stuff or not.
Okay.
And then I'll make it full screen again.
Work behind the scenes too. And
how did the netcode feel? I would say for most of the games, for a great majority of the games, it felt very, very good. It did. There was only like how do I put this? I didn't feel like I was really having internet issues at the LAN. It all felt good, but I did have a time where for some reason Windows decided to fucking default on the power settings mid-game. So instead of running on high performance, it went back to energy saver. And I definitely felt the effects of that during that game. And unfortunately, there's no pause function. So I can't just pause the game and fix that. I had to, I didn't know what the fuck was going on and just had to play through it. But then, like, you know, fixed it after and restarted the PC just to make sure and all that stuff, and it was fine. No, I haven't been playing Insomnia yet. I've just been watching it some. No, I mean, the battery shouldn't be low because they were all desktop PCs, but I mean, I actually had that same problem at the Liquid office, right? It just must be a bug in like the recent Windows update where like the power savings will like reset instead of staying locked in at high performance. So, because yeah, it happened on a completely different computer, same Windows 10, you know, like, so yeah. I will say that the Excel problem is really annoying for Windows 11, but once that can be fixed, I want to switch because, how do I put it? Quake Champions felt much smoother. Like, it just felt really, really smooth on Windows 11. It's just your sensitivity, you just can't play with what you're supposed to. And so that's why it's like really hard to actually output the damage that you want. But like the game itself felt like really smooth. So once that's fixed, like they have a registry fix for that, I want to switch. I think it definitely you could feel a difference.
Of pushing.
He certainly has a little bit of
Point where people are starting to
Yeah, you got something under your eye. Get rid of it real quick.
Maybe we're at a point where people are beginning to learn.
There we go. Okay, so let's see here. So for this, I won the pick ban, and I banned Exile because I felt like Zeniku's been playing very, very solidly on Exile recently, and so why let your opponent play the best map that they're good at if you can help it? Like, you want to be able to find any advantage that you can within the set. So I banned that. He banned Corrupted Keep. That's pretty standard between him and I because it has no rail. And then I decided to pick Veil. He picked Ruins. And then since he picked Ruins, I banned Molten Falls because I felt like whichever he chose for Awoken or Deep Embrace was going to be a better matchup for me. So that's why I decided to do that. And then he ended up opting for Deep Embrace as the third map. Then he picked, what was it? He picked Sorlag right away since I banned Scalebearer. Pretty much anybody that has allowed Zeniku to have Scalebearer loses to it. So why not just ban the champion from him? He's good at a lot of champions, but he's very comfortable and good at playing Scalebearer, so why put yourself through the pain of playing through that and being ran over? So I was like, that's out of here. So he decided to pick Sorlag, which is a really solid pick for Veil, and I opted to pick Ranger, and I did that so that not only did I think that I could play it into the Sorlag matchup pretty well, I wanted to deny it from him because he's been picking Ranger a lot lately. So I just wanted to take it off the table so that it's not available for the other maps. So not only do you have to think about, the picks and bans when it comes to maps, you have to think about as you're going through the set, like, you try to find ways that later on down the line, you find favorable matchups for yourself because you're playing champs that they're also very good at and you're denying them. So if you can't ban the champ, sometimes it's best to pick it if it makes sense and it works well in other matchups. So I did that because I wanted to and it ended up working out. I wanted to leave Strog open for if he didn't ban it, I wanted him to leave it open for me on Ruins. And because in the way that this was going to work is he only gets one ban, so he has to decide, does he leave Athena potentially for me on Deep Embrace, or does he ban it early? And he opted to ban it early, which because Ranger's not here, Strog is a much better pick. And I would have played it into, him playing Slash, or let's see what else was available at the time. He could have picked Slash, Anarchy. The pick that he did pick, Eisen, Galena, I just would have felt very comfortable playing Strog into his playstyle on Ruins on anything that he had to offer. And thankfully it played into my hands. And I was able to pick it, and he decided to pick Eisen. And then we go to the next map, and since he's banned Athena, and Ranger's also not available, I'm like forced to ban Doom. There's no reason that at this point, when it's the third map, that anybody should be allowed to first pick Doom on this map when it's the third one and not be able to play Ranger or Athena into it. You're just asking to lose. And also Sorlag, which is an okay matchup in there, she's not available either because she's off the table. So there I'm just forced to ban it. And he decided to pick Keel, which is still a pretty solid pick. And I just had to decide what I wanted to do. And I was like debating between like Galena and Death Knight, and I felt like Death Knight against his playstyle would probably be best. And so that's why, like, if we went to a third, I just would have played that. So, all right. So yeah, that breaks down the picks and bans for that.
to counteract him. So if
Let's get into the action.
down below, get on with.
I wonder if did they start late? No, I just somehow skipped ahead.
The problem is, so those have already been banned out. So we're going to be kicking things off here. Sign off with Zenecu's POV here to see if we can make some kind of dent into the armor.
Okay, so I don't remember exactly what my start was, but let's see if we can figure this out. So
a good go.
Let's see.
It's also one of his best maps statistically.
So I'm guessing.
Ruins and Deep Embrace on top
Okay, I know what happened. So
he
spawns at heavy,
and
and he went over to nail gun. So he spawned heavy, went over to nail gun. I spawned LG and was getting rockets. Because I knew that if he went to heavy and then decided to do the cheeky thing where you just go to heavy and then you go to shotgun and go to mega, I would have guns on him, and I could just orb to the mega early, and then he's trapped. And the entire time that he would decide to like push me at mega, I'm backing off from shotgun distance towards the armor, he would be piped. So that's what I was doing. And so he saw me, did a bit of damage over there. And so now I'm creating a gap between heavy and mega as I'm collecting, because I know that I still have the light armor up at mega, and the light armor is going to be available near the rocket because he didn't have time to meet me and fight me if he went for the armor, then went for the heavy, and then be there. It's just not possible. He can't do that. So I know that I have all these resources available for me, so now it's about like trying to make sure that I create a gap between the mega and heavy, and then I create good position for myself for the next heavy with weapon advantage, especially mid-range since I have rockets and LG. Okay, so he does a good job like taking a little bit of a fight to try and let's full screen this, to try and deny that extra armor from me. So it's not too bad, but he doesn't have LG here to like catch me and like drop down, so he shouldn't really be around here. So he hears me up top, he decides to leg it, which is fine, because he goes to get LG now. And so I don't have rail, so I need to keep trying to close the gap. And taking that rail doesn't matter. Like, oh, this fucking thing. Like, why can't, when it's full screen, I just keep it up here, and then I can press, like... There, Jesus. It's like wanting to take me out of full screen when I press space sometimes instead of using it to pause. So taking the rail doesn't matter there because it's 90 damage, but guess what? I'm going to heal up with the mega and the light armor. And I've already like, with the tri-bolt angle that it was, he can't stick around because he'll take a shit ton more damage and not be able to reciprocate because I can hide myself. So he does the right thing and he leaves, but the rail's not really going to do anything. So hopefully just for his sake, he's just keeping track of the mega time. And me, I just know I need to find just one in. If I get one in, I have, you know, all the weapons that I need, and I can finally get it. So there it is. I catch him at the right time after I've gone from mega. He's trying to get high ground position early to deny like the portal entrance potentially for this heavy, and I catch him with a lot of damage. So now I know it's time to assert position and be aggressive. And so I'm zoning him out. I'm just chipping, just doing chip damage there. Sometimes it's good to use shotgun from mid-range against a tank because you can just deal good chip damage against them. Like you can just quick peek for free, and you know, unless they're hitting the rails like the pixel perfect rails against you there, it's gonna be a tough time for them. And so it zones him out. It allows me to get the heavy, and now I have full control going. So I catch him at the portal. I don't use the orb at a good time, but that's okay. I just back up. Like I'm burning. If I take the orb, it's like way too risky. I haven't done enough damage. It's just even if I get the kill, I'll be so weak. I could just back off now and maintain good control. So I back off, get mega for free again. He's doing a good job of like cautiously like covering his angles. Like this gets people in trouble a lot. So let's go back. So as he goes here and he goes for this, a lot of the time people will just jump for the vials and they're not even like looking towards nail. Like so they can't even protect themselves. So if I peeked, I could get a rail for free and then be able to push in. he's doing a good job of covering his ass as he's going to get this. He's not just collecting and going. He's collecting and making sure that he can cover himself. So just good, like, simple, fundamental things to do there that he's doing. And here, I'm looking to zone him out with damage, maybe catch him for the kill. He perfectly decides to turn at the right time. There, I catch him with a good rocket, trying to, like, move into Mega. But I respect the spit. I know that I don't need to overdo this. I just need to slowly and surely I will finally catch him. And here, I catch him with really good damage again, because I know that the armor's up, he might be going for it. I predict it correctly, and now I'm looking for him. No, nice.
Lead 2 minutes into this, and so far I don't mind this kind of play. At the moment, it's just a game of chess. Is Seneku now just trying to find a way in?
So now I know that he's likely around rail. I'm just maintaining full control and the big split between the items so that I can just keep this going. The pressure's all on him to do something crazy. All I have to do is hit a rail like that, and he's in a really tough situation.
Yeah, the worry is there is absolutely zero pressure on the major items. So Rapha has full reign of the map at this point in time. Zeneku needs to find a...
And so here I'm guessing that he's likely going to go for this armor around the time that Mega comes up, and he knows the timing. And I have orbs, so now is a good time. Like, if I catch him here, this is a good time to get a kill, which I do. Shotgun, orb, shotgun, and he's dead. So then I just go back, just focus on control again.
That's not the pressure play here. The pressure is
trying to see if I could have caught him there for going for rocket. He chooses wisely not to go. But I'm so healthy here. He, like, doesn't have a lot of weapons, and so what's been in the meta recently is people like RJ to collect the heavy. But instead, I'm doing it to secure position, because I know that he's here at the pillars. So as I go up, I'm just going to read, like, where he's dodging and just try to zone him out here. Because then if he stays around, because he doesn't have a lot of good weapons in his arsenal, he's going to take disadvantageous fights, and it'll be good for me. But it works out even better. Like, I hit him, I zone him out, I collect the heavy for free now. But now he has good guns, so I can't just, like, push willy-nilly. And I'm just utilizing Ranger's passive to gain position and see if he's, like, overextending to try to get back in.
Still holding up top. Mega's coming up in the next few seconds. Items are still heavily segregated, which means that Rapha can just dilly-dally.
And with how well he's been playing defensively, I know that this game is going to be slow. And I can't look at it like, oh, I've had this control for so long. Why am I not getting enough kills? It's okay. I just need to slowly get the frags and just keep controlling the tempo of the game so that he can't get that monster 175, 200 stack with Sorlag and run around with air control and do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, I just need to keep playing this slow tempo game, and if he makes mistakes, cool, I'll take advantage of them. If he's making right decisions, I need to respect that and just keep playing the percentages, just keep slowly trying to do things and not, like, not overextend to get kills. Because I have to remember that he's going to respawn with a lot more than me. So here he does a good job to steal heavy, and he's actually a little bit healthier than I anticipated winning this. I thought that he might be like 100 health, 75 armor, something like that after I did some damage and stuff, but he's a bit healthier. And he didn't go back, because he wasn't as weak, he didn't go back to the armor like I was anticipating, and he set himself up for a good, like, rocket and then hit the pixel rail there. And now I'm out of control. But I'm okay. I have the armor. And now that he's jumped, when I peeked here and he jumped to the shotgun, I'm like, okay, I can move through here now that he's done that. And I have orb. And if he plays this incorrectly, I can orb up and be fighting him with nail gun in his face. Or I could just back off to rocket. I have options now. Yep. So I knew the timing, and he's got a big body. Nails hit a lot better on the connection that we're playing on than I've been on recently, so I knew I could take that fight. And so I've got control back. What he needed to do is to not go for shotgun in that situation and just figure out where I'm coming from and make sure that I don't come through nail gun for free. If I was playing any other champion, he could have done what he did because I couldn't just use the orb to get up there, but because I'm Ranger, he needed to be ready earlier on.
Knows this is the time down by the rail area. Should be.
So I've done a lot more damage.
Question is,
He's like so weak.
Using his mobility and speed.
And he's like really risking, like he's trying to just trade a lot of damage here.
Came out of a bit of a pickle,
Just
but
fine.
the problem is now
But
directly
I hit him
on
right
the
before the armor
rail.
comes
The
up.
confidence you have to have.
And now I know that he's likely going to spawn near heavy side, but he gets a much closer spawn to rocket than I even thought he would get, so now I just need to chill. Like, I know that I can't go for it. I just need to go over here, try to do some damage. And as you'll see as the fight plays out, like what I do here is really good, but unfortunately I misplace my orb and then my dodging after, and I don't get the light armor. So it ends up being a really bad play. So I make him have to choose, but I don't get the armor, which is a huge deal here because he's going to be able to get that and the heavy. And unlucky for him, I hit the rail from the spawn.
Yeah, that was such a clutch rail. It means that Rapha has a fighting chance on to this.
And here, I'm like playing out and trying to figure out whether he wants to try to all-in me here for the position. Now that I have rail and LG, and I've played it really safe to like not overcommit and take rocket damage, or to see if he'll start backing off. And once I can tell, like, you can tell, like the way that the like rockets splash is like being delayed now, he's backing up. So that little cue lets me know, okay, I've won this position. I know he doesn't have rail yet. I can start moving in. I can get position for Mega. Yep, and I just zone him out. I know that he's not going to be able to rail me to kill me. I can get Mega, I get the light, now I've got control again.
The right weapons to really contest yet. He needs to get across to get this rail. That's such a critical weapon on this map, but particularly for Zenecu in the waystop.
He's still doing okay though. He's collected a lot of armor. He's got spit to defend himself. He's got all the guns.
I'll make a go of it, but it's not really him. It's Rapha with the stack advantage and the control.
We both miss a decently easy rail for both of us.
In the next couple of seconds, of course,
But he's playing okay. He's making himself hard to reach, hard to catch with her mobility. And he's trying to play the hit and run game. He's doing what he should do.
Very close between the two yet. Very hard to separate both.
Because I have orb and I can like reposition, I'm looking to be aggressive. But I'm still okay even after not dealing damage.
Yeah, it is. It was before the pickup. That's what Rapha's so good at. He's using the resource effectively.
And I'm just bullying him out. Like, it's like, look, if you want to take a full-on fight, we can, but I have orb and you don't. Like, I have the potential for a bunch of burst damage. So I'm like slowly but surely like just been bullying him. And here I just want to deal a little damage and leave. Because now guess what? I get the light, I get the Mega, which then allows me to get over to the heavy. And here he has no fucking escape. Like, it's time to move in with the orb as soon as I'm collecting the heavy and just finish.
Rapha sensing the time is now.
And so then here, I know based off the spawn, he can't get me right away from LG, from where I'm going to be. He'll likely spawn at Rocket, so I'm just trying to get my orb back as fast as possible. And I know that, okay, I probably can't get the Mega unless he messes up. Pretty... Okay, so I hear him over there, which allows me to then start positioning for the Mega. So that's why you go to that position. You hear what they're doing. He decided to go for the armor to try to get stacked up first. And it allows me to get in position to potentially get Mega and Heavy now.
Consistently recover, especially with the Sorlag, but the problem is you can't just give away items, have to constantly recover at all times.
And I get another nice rail, because I heard the portal.
3 minutes left, still room to work with, but look at
He's here early, so I'm like, okay, I can either do a lot of damage and leave him weak, maybe get a free kill, get a free kill. And here I try to manipulate the spawn so that I can make sure that I get both, instead of like, because after you get the kill there, if you go to heavy too quickly, they'll spawn at LG, and so then they'll just get Mega. So I made sure that he likely wasn't going to spawn at LG, because most people will do that. They'll go for one or the other. And so he's just hoping that as soon as he spawns, he gets Heavy or Mega. But I forced him to spawn at Rail so that he can't get both. I used the orb for repositioning and get both items. So I'm like, okay, he has all the guns, but I'm super stacked. He has to play from predictable positions at the moment, so I just need to keep looking for chip damage.
It's a way to play, but the problem is the margin for error when you're playing like Zenecu is so low.
I'm so weak.
Reliant on hitting
and here, going for this kill is fine because 3 frag buffer is pretty good. And I know that that armor would be coming up quickly, but if he does kill me, he's going to be so weak that he likely can't make good on it afterwards.
You look like an absolute genius, but it's far easier for Rapha to execute his style.
So here I get everything I need. I back up.
The way in which Rapha's playing is forcing Zeneku.
I hear him down at Rocket, so I know that since he's at Rocket right away, I can likely Rocket jump off the Heavy to contest Mega. So even though I lost the frag, I still have full control.
He's in a better position to take home this map.
It's still better in that situation. It's better to go for it to like be up 3 or to lose the frag and be up 1, but still have full control. It's just you shouldn't like let those opportunities go away.
Really contest the Mega and Heavy Day is still too weak.
Because the longer the game goes on, the more pressure is on him to make the plays because he's down. He has to be the aggressor, so he sometimes has to be more predictable, and he can take more potential like free rail shots or free rocket spam, things of that nature. Or you catch him in a really predictable route as a tank with LG. So that's kind of the reasoning behind like why it's good to have gone for that, regardless of whether you get the kill or not there. Sting, thanks for gifting a sub to Wolfie from Poland. Zombie, thanks for the 11-month resub. Hope you've had good holidays as well.
He's actually still up there.
It just feels sad, man.
Really
But we'll watch that again. And the only reason why it can be difficult here is because he doesn't have Spit to make me pay for pushing him. He doesn't have it yet. And so I'm catching him like overextending here, and what he should have done is as soon as I start attacking again, because he had this position by this pillar, he should have dropped off towards the Heavy. But he decided to stay to be greedier for damage and to try to get back in. Like I said, you're the person that's down, you have to make more plays, like more attempts. This shouldn't have been the try here. He's like waiting so hard for Spit to come back up, but I hit the direct rocket into rail, and now it's just it's over. And I got him to use Spit, so it's even better. And then here, statistically, this should be game over. He's standing on the Mega early. I'm so stacked. I have Orb. I come up here, and then somehow he hits like bonk bonk. He gets like 2 pummel hits almost back to back immediately, which deals a lot more damage than he should be able to, which allowed him to get Mega as well. So it was an all-in gamble for him to try to get back in, and it just happened to work out. But otherwise, the way things should normally work, that's another free kill, and then I just run the game out. But it's still not bad because he's really weak. So I push him off the spawn, and it's better here to make it a 2-frag game or to tie it, and he can't push me for control again. I have to like keep the pressure up. It's like you really have to know like when to do this and when to like, you know, take the foot off the gas. But here it's better to do that because of the cycle of the items. And I know that if he goes for this armor here off this spawn, which I'm likely going to spawn at, and I know that I'll go for rail anyway, he has to be predictable in his movement. And so I get the kill back anyway. So I get the kill back, I'm decent. And now I'm going to go towards LG. And I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get Mega Control back. I'll be like, okay, now I get the 1-frag lead again, and we're about even. I just have more health than you.
Slowly work his way around the map to try and pick up the next rotation of weapons.
And here I'm looking to like deal damage, and if I take some, try to fall back on some items. There I dealt a lot of shotgun damage. I collect this shit. And that orb is to just zone him out. If he stays there, he's fucking dead. I'll orb on him, and then I'll switch to shotgun. I'll combo him. But if he leaves, then it gives me the position on Heavy, like this, and we're A-okay again. But me not using the orb allows him to potentially like do some tricky things with dodging. If he hits a good rail, there's no follow-up on him when he has the long cooldown on the shot. And that's why like you have to use it in that situation. So here my LG is shit, but I at least steal the Mega.
not too for
I'm like, all right, I need to steal this. Just play for this armor again. Force him to go to the rail side. I get this. I go down here and I'm going to play for this. He's playing for it really early.
Still down below. Depends how Zenecu wants to approach this.
I can't back up onto it now based off where he was, because then it potentially allows him to zone me out with some lucky spam shots. And I just want to focus on getting the heavy over everything.
Yeah, he's in a rough spot. Rapha's got the map on lockdown, 3 seconds more than
So RJing up, he's not healthy enough to fight for this. He decides he wants to use the rest of the time, which is the smart thing to do. Like, him trying to fight for the Mega there could have been the end, and it was not a good fight to take. So props to him for under pressure realizing that he still has time. It's okay. He can go get some other armor.
And that's without Rapha hitting anything in return.
And so now I'm just trying to find him to deal damage and figure out where I should position. So since I heard him go low and he didn't come through nail, I'm like, okay, he's probably going to go up to LG and then go through the portal. So I need to RJ up and get position.
Rapha's just trying to prevent any entry.
Yep. So
he doesn't want to take a fight. He's
just trying to stall him if he tries to overcommit, do a lot of damage. It's no big deal that I took one there. One rail is fine. But then here's where I fuck up, is I thought that Mega was still going to be up. I mistimed. I thought it was going to be up at 45. So I would have time to go get rockets to then defend myself, and that he would look for me elsewhere. But he doesn't. He actually went to rocket, and I get caught out horribly because I only have one left. Rockets are the perfect fucking gun to use in this situation. I don't have them. And so I use the orb to try to deal as much as I can, because I got caught jumping. Just like the situation in the previous match with Effortless, where there were a couple situations where he gets caught jumping. I have no escape now. It is just a total shit situation for me, and I just have to deal with it. And so now the game could potentially be thrown away by one small timing error from myself.
And he's tied up, and we're going to go to sudden death by the look of things.
And so he's trying to figure out where I am. He perfectly went for the armor and then got here in time to hit me before I could get nail and back up. And the game could potentially end here. But thankfully we're on land, and he doesn't want to drop on nail gun against as Sorlag, dropping from there, because it would be too predictable. He could get melted easily, and he'd have to hit a direct rocket to kill me in time. So he backs up, and I had to dodge into the acid room to collect that health rather than the other one, because it was too predictable to go for it. And I'm just lucky that I got out without him railing me there. So I'm able to back up. I'm still surviving in this game. I've given myself a chance. But I know it's going to be hard, because he's going to be able to get full control here. Okay, but I heard him go for the heavy as I went through the portal, because I knew that it was first. He's likely going to try to go for it and then all in at Mega. So going through the portal was a bit of a risk there, but it's more likely that he's going to be playing for the heavy position, because he can't give that up. He can't allow me to sneak through low and to steal it. It's just, it would be horrible. So he's playing the respect game. And then now I have LG, nail, and rail to fight for this. And so I'm not picking up the Mega yet, because I haven't taken damage. I want to see what he's doing, and to potentially trade for this. And if he sticks around too long, I could turn this shit around. That's why I'm taking my time. Okay, he rails me, and then I pick up the Mega. So now it's of more value, because otherwise I would have been at 175 and it gets knocked down, whereas now I'm practically at 175 again. Now I've hit the rail, and I'm just stalling this covering angles because my orb is coming back soon. And this armor's coming up, and he gets railed on the predictable drop down. He doesn't have any rails left, and he's dead. I don't know. It's like he tried to... He panicked and thought he had to end the game there, when I'm going to be much healthier than I guess he anticipated. And it's such a fucking weird 50-50 fight at the pillar there, and especially since you're the one that doesn't have a better escape option. Unless you have a huge advantage there, you can't try to end the game like he was trying to do. You have to just take it and leave it and just be like, okay, I fucked up. I didn't kill him earlier. But he's like overreaching, and because he was like overreaching, it ends up leading to me like coming back, and he ran out of rails. So this shit's rough. He did a good job of being out of control for a great majority of the game and giving himself a chance to be in overtime, and then just squandered it all. So quite unfortunate. But I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna take the dogs outside, and then I'm gonna use the restroom myself, and then we will be back. So probably 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll get some more VOD reviewing underway. All right, I'm back. Now, where were we? Let's see here. Okay. Put this phone back. Y'all like the chair stream? Yeah, I got this Liquid Marvel hoodie. It's got like Spider-Man stuff on the back. Which, no, I've seen it, okay? And I loved it. No spoilers in the chat. I'm sorry. Gotta wait like at least a month. Alright? I want to let people see it. So let's get this shit going. Display caption. Boom. Boom. Boom.
The map
Okay, so the next map is
platter.
runs.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm surprised he did.
But Zeneca was punning. It was really from the score line gave Zeneca.
Map 3, it will be. I was
Come
thinking
on.
to myself, in order to try, he had.
Hill starts to connect. He's always going to be in a good spot.
You know how weak he was, but even when
Okay, so
Zeneca retreated,
with
he went for the heavy, but of course, by then Rapha picked up the light, picked up the mega, had the high ground. But we're going to get straight into this.
so with the start here, okay. Oh, this was a rough one. So I was trying to do a move because what he did was super predictable, and he went to rail and then went to LG. And if you do that, and you're playing against Strog, Strog has enough time with the spawn I had to get rockets, to get mega, and to dive bomb you at LG. And all you've got is your starting weapon and railgun to fight against rockets and peeker. And this is not a good combo. Okay? But we'll see. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it from my point of view, but we'll see what happens here, right?
Second map shortly. Is my word. What a way to start this series off. And Zeneca, it shows signs that he has it in him. It's just a matter of able to be able to just deliver even
So
further.
he spawns on heavy.
POV, that's what we're going to be kicking things off, throwing down the turret.
And he laid the turret down there for like way ahead of time, instead of maybe being ready to use it here. And sorry for it fucking full screening again. So right now, this should work out great for me. I should be able to dive bomb him, get a free kill, get full control off the bat. Everything's going to be great. Here I come. And then I somehow just clip the wall perfectly with the rocket, and I full-on rocket jump myself, like boost myself backwards.
All the weapons as soon as physically possible, and you look at that, I do quite like.
And I get knocked all the way back to where there's no items. Like, I've never had this happen to me ever. I have never had it fail like that. And then, boom, he hits a pixel rail. I'm like, this is, in my head I was like, this is really how this is gonna start? This is, I said, okay. Well, the only positive in my mind right then was that, okay, both light armors are up, and he would have to do way too much damage to himself to deny it, and the only way that he could do that is if he had starting nail gun, which is not likely. So if I just play this slow, it's going to be really hard for him to collect both mega and heavy. I might be able to get one.
Nice first rail, and the problem is already Rapha on the defensive.
So I get what he's doing. He's trying to get his turret back, but so I went back and doubled back from the heavy down to get railgun, because I figured he would try to get all the guns and then try to fight me, or like look for me, get full control. Nah. Or like go up top and maybe try to deny the arm. No, he's down here. I'm like, oh shit, you're here. So then I direct him, and all this peeker does is force him to go back. If he had pushed forward, he would have just been destroyed. But that gives me space. I go get some health. While he's getting this now, I'm not railable anymore. And for some reason, he's wanting to all in here, even though we're pretty even. Like, I'm going to be 150 total because 100 health, 50 armor, and he's what? 141. So actually, I'm ahead. And where he placed the turret, I don't have to fucking go. I could just go low.
Experience from Zeniku as we go aggressive here over by the light. He's caught Rapha, but Rapha will be able to
And so now because of that, because well, I don't know why the fuck he wanted to like fight me like right there the way he did. I get to get Mega now.
If you think about the base of his Abbott game,
So I'm okay.
I'm
Okay. I've taken this nightmare of a start and
when he understood the situation was there, Zeniku
made it okay.
Rail and stuck around to try and finish the game. So again, he needs to be paid.
Yep, and here I'm just like trying to figure out, you know, post heavy where he's gonna go. And I figure based off the LG fight, he doesn't have much LG. So I could probably take like a mid-range fight. And I catch him with a lot of good damage here.
He needs to choose his situations wisely.
And I'm trying to take this out. I thought I'd be able to take it out before he could like push all the way around. But I was mistaken. He hits a nice shot. And then we both had an easy shot here. Like we could have watched again.
To try and finish the game. So again,
So I hit him.
He needs to choose his situations
I take the shit out so that I can push him. He does nice damage. And here I just missed an easy shot. And he hit the nice shot like the last possible second going around the corner. So even though he got the kill, regardless of whoever got it, we were going to be weak. So this is not one of those situations where you feel the best about getting the kill because you don't have a lot of health and armor. And especially since I'm strong, I have good mobility off the spawn. There, I was trying to catch him like going for the health, and he made a really good decision and just luckily dropped down when he did and was looking the way he did, or it could have went terribly. And so he hits a nice rail, gets away, and I immediately take out Peeker there because I know that I need to cover if he tries to re-peek. I might be able to get the kill, like with the bolts into like killing him with the kamikaze. But because I saw that he like dropped the turret, I couldn't just keep going after him. I have to like eliminate it and get out of there. So I go ahead and get this, and I'm going to come back for the rail. And this is nice from him. He knows that I can't rail him yet because I don't have it, so even though he is railable, he's definitely safe to peek and to try to deal damage to me here. Because I'm obviously going to be preoccupied with the turret. So it's good from him. So it's a really nice job, and it's created a gap between the heavy and mega now as well. So if he comes out really well here, he could have potentially won himself a shit ton of control. So we'll see how it goes. So I know that he might be up here, so that's why I'm like taking my time, trying to be tricky to get out. And I know that I can't take the fight because it would likely take 3 rails to kill him, or it would only take 2 to kill me. So I head out. Like, it's okay. Just you take that, I'll take the other armor. And now my job is to make sure that I try to keep him from getting from heavy to mega quickly by like rocket jumping or something. So I cut this off, and I just perfectly predict that he's going to grab the ledge instead of go all the way up. I deal some damage, and that's actually perfect scenario for me, because now I get to back up onto the mega. I've taken no damage, and I've taken the overstack from the heavy. I'm looking for extra shit here, just trying to bait out with sounds. Don't end up getting it, but it's okay. So now I come back through here, and because I heard him place the turret down, I don't just like go running in there, because by the time that I run in, it'll start shooting me. I take the high ground and like try to figure out what to do from here, because I know that the light armor up here is about the same time as the other light armor that I collected from the last little like strange rail engagement that happened, right? So I know that even if I take damage, I could potentially play for that light armor. So now I'm just trying to catch him escaping. I do some good damage. I figured that he would come back here instead of dropping right away, because dropping right away was too predictable. So I'm catching him again. Now he's railable. And I know that now is a good time to try to do this. Like, I could die, but he's likely not 100 health. He's weak from how he was screaming. I've done enough damage that I need to try to go through here. It's not like he's going to be set up perfectly in time. It's going to be a very hectic fight, and he's going to be probably predictably moving towards the heavy. So I dive down, and we trade a lot of damage, but I'm going to get the kill. I'm going to get destroy it, which allows me to be aggressive at rail right after. if I was any other champion, I couldn't go be aggressive at rail because I'd be like 25 health, 100 armor. And that's too risky against base machine gun. Base machine gun does too much damage. So yeah.
Be a trade.
So as soon as I see that he spawned over there, I rocket jump up because I know I can shield myself from the angle, and then I can steal Mega from him. It forces him to leave. So now, since I know that he dropped to rail, what I did is I decided to go for the health bubble outside, like the top of rail there, to make the Mega worth it. Because if I go take the Mega when I have 100, when I just have 35 health, it'll be 135. But if I get to where I'm like 55, 60 health, that'll be 155, 160 health. So here's a situation where I can min-max because there's no way for him to reach me. I can safely go to and from the bubble, get it, and I have plenty of time between the other major items to make it back. So that's what I do, and I know that I need to focus on control again. So I just make him pay for picking up the rocket launcher. And for some reason he wants to all in here. I don't know why the fuck he wants to all in here. Because I'm strong. If he dies, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get the free 25 health.
Who's actually pushing in aggressively, realizing Rapha's going to be standing in the corner, catching him.
And here, he just needed to walk up.
But of course,
like, this was his mistake. He could have maybe killed me, okay? But here, instead of just walking and dodging his way up, making easy, he jumps! Why? Why did you jump? The jump made him super predictable, and I just 100% LG'd him. I don't know if he's like used to playing me online, where my LG is not as consistent because of fucking packet loss on my connection. But when we're on that same connection there, buddy, you can't do that, dude. Like, you can't do that shit. So he like totally underestimated the amount of damage he would take, and he gave away a kill. And guess what? Look at my, I'm already at like 26, 28 health, something like that. I have a decent amount of armor now. I'm going to collect some more health.
Low though, meaning with this spawn, he can definitely...
And so I can contest this.
Even probably get the conversion.
Trying to deal some damage, and somehow, I don't know, I was just as shocked then as I am now still. He somehow, and I don't have a super low FOV, I'm at like 110, 115, something like that.
He's gonna be there so soon.
He somehow gets by me on my right without me seeing him, and then he's like behind me. If I had like 90 FOV, that would be more explainable, but I was still surprised, like how the fuck did he get behind me? So he ends up getting the heavy and a clean kill, and so he's actually got a really good situation going on. So here I use this to zone him out because I have to, like, and I know, like, based off his position that he's probably not going for rail right away. He's going to go for the armor, which allows me to use my mobility to go get guns. Like, I may be down in stack, but using the peeker the way that I did and forcing him out allows me to get weapons. And so now I just gain position. He can't push me because he doesn't have enough LG. And so he goes to get rocket. And again, I was looking to see if I could catch him trying to go for guns. I don't. And so I just give it up. I'm like, okay, you go get that. I'm just going to lock you out because I know he wants to rocket jump, he wants to get a rail, so just taking my time to zone him out, and now I can go get Mega while he gets rail. That's part of like trying to get control back, or like you can't be greedy and all-inning for shit all the time. You have to understand that you're playing against the best players in the world. Like, they're going to make good decisions. You're not always going to be able to get and maximize everything, so you have to like be willing to trade. What trade are you willing to work with? And so there it's all about making sure that he can't RJ to get past me. He's still going to be pretty decently stacked, but as long as I zone him correctly and make him respect me from good position, I can at least get the Mega. And like, he'll get rail, but he'll get it at a time where then we can equally fight.
Later on, so 3.5 minutes have passed. So as a stacked, Rapha has a slight advantage, but it all depends on how and if Rapha's going to approach this. But with the turret here, Dan, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, you can see Zeneku, he just wants to consolidate his stack.
And so what ends up being the downfall of Zeneku in this matchup is he does not use the turret as well as he should. The time where earlier in the game where he caught me at rail and like he delayed the mega timing, that whole thing, that was a good decision. And the way that he used and played around the turret was really good. But throughout the game, he starts using the turret not in the best way. Like, I'm sorry, but this is me you're talking about. When the fuck am I going to just run in here when I know that you're healthy and take a bunch of damage from it? I'm not. This is a waste of a turret. He puts the turret down. I'm going to take it out so easily. Shit, I could take it out with Peeker if I wanted to from here. He should have placed it somewhere like over on this wall or like back behind the heavy somewhere like to the right more, where if I commit to the area, it can help him. Like, where even if I deal some entry damage, then committing to the area still is dangerous because I'm taking, you know, it's going to be 1.5 against 1, essentially. So, like, just putting it in positions like this and it just being a waste, like, can't be doing that.
Oh, great rail off the bat.
So then I easily finished it off. I knew, like, I dealt a lot of damage, so I could just kill it with LG and then keep fighting him. And I just wanted to do some exit damage. He predictably has to leave. I catch him with a good rocket and a nice rail. And now I work my way up through the eyeball.
He's out of position now for the mega. Goes the long way around.
He decides to go through here, and I catch him with good exit damage. So we're about even. I have my ability and he doesn't.
But they do trade. They are just about even stacks at this point.
That's a nice rail from him there. And here he makes the big mistake of forgetting that Strog is going to have like a half second to 3/4 of a second of wall hacks after the Strog dies, after the Peeker dies. So I have the advantage here peeking with rail. Shouldn't have done that. He should have just literally just sat there and waited a second. If he just took his time and like played the matchup correctly, he wouldn't have gotten railed, and to where now it's 50-50. And then as he's leaving, for someone who likes to rail so much, like he does, he should just be looking at the only place that I could shoot him still. But instead, he's like focusing so much on the movement to get out that it allows me to keep peeking, and that's that. So I managed to take the lead off of just careless angles there, instead of it being, you know, potentially 3-2 to him or still 2-2, but he has a monstrous amount of control.
Yeah, he should have been looking at that angle whilst he was preparing the drop down for the heavy, which means that Rapha's almost got a...
That rail miss allows me to just like work my way in. I get that.
Something does happen, but yeah, it was just completely agree.
And I know that I am going to be too late here, so I don't overcommit. I need to figure out what he's done, because he might not have gotten rocket yet. He might just have like rail and nail gun. And so I might be able to catch him with damage, like going for the rockets or something like that.
There, which could eventually cost him in the long run.
So again, he puts the turret at a spot where, yeah, sure, it sees me, but again, why would I, when I know he has good position, why would I just rush in there? That's like a turret position where if somebody plays over aggressive and is just doing stupid, risky shit, sure, it works. But it doesn't help deter anybody from going into the room. Like, it doesn't create a separate angle. Like, it could be much better placed.
Not only that Rapha was in that choke point, but of course Zeneku was there with the talent, but the amount of damage.
So I hit him with the rail, and now I'm just delaying him. I'm like, if I could get another shot, awesome. If not, I just want to know where he is the whole time.
Does manage to
feel the balance is that as much as we are obviously again praising Zeneku's rail,
and he's riskily being here at 125 health and no armor. But he leaves. If he took a rail there, I probably could have went to the pad and hit him on the way up. I could have got there fast enough to hit 2 rails in a row. So it was very risky for him to be there. Hitting the rail is okay, but I'm still going to be 140 armor.
He took a risky position.
And this is why lighting on high is very important.
He takes what I would classify as greedy angles some of these times.
Even though I couldn't hear exactly where he is,
so just like when he gave it that
look at the staircase here. I can't hear exactly where he's jumping yet, but
frag,
seeing that shadow cross, I know that he's up here to the right. that he's crossed there at full speed, so I know to look there immediately
He took a risky
and to start
position.
preparing
As soon
for
as
it.
he misses, it
And once
opens
he's
the door for
maintained the
Rapha.
position,
Whereas we've
I haven't
seen
done any
Rapha
damage,
Fuji, a lot of the shots
I
he's
know
trying
to
set
get
up,
out.
He's jiggle peeking, they're on the quick flicks. He's not exposing himself. So missing the rails.
Okay, and so he made... I was like, okay, if this guy here made such a risk with no armor and whatever last time, I got a good hunch he's going to go again. He's going to try to set himself up down at heavy. And so I'm just trying to think in my mind, like,
as big of a
off of sound cues and shit here. Where is he going? What's he doing? And so I think based off the timing that, okay, he'll start dropping down to the pad now. So I need to go early. Even though the heavy isn't up for a while, I can't allow him to get there and gain position and have the turret so that it's a 2-on-1. And so I catch him there, and that, it doesn't seem like much, but it's zoned him out. And now I see it again. I saw that he crossed over. Unfortunately, I don't hit the rail, which would have been a huge deal. But I'm able to collect the heavy. I play it safe and I don't push. I just take out the turret. I'm like, okay, he's not going to have turret for at least 25 seconds unless he collects some vials. It could be even longer. So I just keep my control going. I have the lead. And I'm going to look for exit damage. I know he doesn't have the turret. He doesn't have it, because guess what? I just killed it. So you cannot be here. And he is lucky not to give up a free kill there. Like, that could have went horribly wrong where he just gets shoved against the wall. But he just got perfectly bounced towards the pad and, like, where he had the timing and he could keep defending. That could have went horribly wrong. Like, so he's lucky to get out the way that he is right now. He still might die soon, which he does, because I know that Heavy's not up for a while, but I'm like, he's so desperate, he needs something, so I go to cut off the light armor and see if I can get a kill. Okay, so since I didn't kill him there, it's okay. I go to collect the Heavy, and I want to cut him off after the Mega, because what I've done is I've made sure that after damaging him from the armor, I know he has no armor. If he wants to go get the other armor, he's going to have to meet me. Or if he goes to get it, then guess what? He gives me the Mega for free. So I need to keep forcing him to make tough decisions. So here he has nothing. I'm so stacked. And just this, unfortunately, just a perfect shitstorm for him where I come through at the right time. And by the time that he hears the rocket, he's already in motion and it's too late. And now I get a free kill.
Zeneku is being read like a book.
Yep. And so now, since he was so careless off of that, I figured he would probably play pretty tricky off the respawn, and I guessed correctly.
Could have kept Rapha on another choke point, but it's only left a machine gun here against the LG, and of course that is just not...
Sometimes you just got to live up in somebody else's head. And so I catch him for another free kill, and I'm like, all right, I'm strong against Aizen in this matchup. So from now on, now that it's a three kill game, and there's going to be 3.5 minutes left, I can potentially run this out. Anytime that he has to push me, it's going to be in some dire situation, and guess who has the mobility to get away? Him or me? It's this guy. If I find an opportunity to go for, like I explained on Veil, where it's a situation where you have kills, and going for the extra kill, or dying and making him super weak, it's still potentially worth it. Because you'll get full control back. A situation like that will arise in a bit. So if something like that happens, I'll go for it. If not, then whatever. Like, all the pressure's on him. Okay, so he managed to get Mega, so guess what I didn't do? Overcommit. I'm just looking to punish what? His rail pickup. And now he overcommitted for this, and he should, by all means, die here. But he pulls off a miracle. And before I could get in range, he hits like another pixel like peak rail. And so the thing is, though, I was like, okay, it's still worth because I'm off the spawn. He has no health and armor. The odds are not in his favor to get this next heavy.
He's somewhat adjusted his playstyle around the fact that Zeneku was being so...
See? He can't get it. So it was still worth it to go for that because if I get the 4th frag, he for sure is not going to come back. The game is over. If not, it's still well within my favor to win this. I have full control. It's not that big of a deal.
And it wasn't succeeding.
Okay, so I know he went to nail to Mega, so he's likely going to go there.
Raise the tempo, the way he's moving around the map, the way he's repositioning. Obviously, he's just been franked there, but that was again just unbelievable.
I don't know this now,
more than a mistake from Rapha.
But I hear him pick it up now, so I know that there's this huge gap between Heavy and Mega, and he's trying to do it to come back. So I have to be wary of him dropping down here. So I take this out and get ready for the fight.
At the same time, we're popping on down to say hello. A nice few couple of rockets, and yeah.
And so I don't all commit because I'm low on LG ammo, and I don't want to peeker there like most times people would. But if I pick the wrong side and he perfectly peeks to hit me with direct rockets, I could die for free. So in my opinion, it was better to leave here, try to hit a rail. If I kill him, great. I go get the Heavy for free. Game's great. If not, I could still potentially go get the Mega. I could get in position. I miss an easy shot, so here I just have to back out and just play the running game.
Would have hurt him a little bit. He wouldn't have been taken down due to the light, but definitely would have given him a little bit more leverage.
Nice shot from him, but I'm okay, and I know where he's going to come from. Hit the shot. This is a really iffy fight to take, and I take advantage of the fact that as soon as he throws that turret, he can't shoot immediately, and I just start lighting him the fuck up, because I know, like, once he starts taking too much damage, he's going to panic, since he took a rail and didn't deal any damage, that he's going to start moving towards the Heavy, and it makes his dodging super predictable.
Unfortunately for him,
and just LG to rail combo.
It's panic mode.
That's it.
At this point is what I'm seeing. He's forced to make.
And so now it's a 3-frag game. Even though he's going to get the Heavy, I'm going to maintain high ground. I'm just going to keep running from him.
3-frag difference. 2 minutes to go on Ruins.
And if I need to, there's a position I can take where I could just play super defensive by the eyeball and just keep running when I hear him.
It's looking pretty bleak indeed as time's progressing. Minute 40 left on the clock. Zeneku did have an immaculate stack, but that...
And so there, I went for that shot because I had seen him, like when I was at there, I saw him jumping from rocket or whatever, and so I went to go try to find some exit damage. It was like, okay, if he goes to T, then I just go underneath. If not, I'll get a free damage, and then I'll just be able to back off. I just need to be annoying here, which is exactly what I'm doing.
It's going to be extremely tough. That was a good last rocket from both players. Zeneku does pick up.
And then here, I'm like, okay, there's a minute 30 left. He needs 3 kills. You know, what harm is it guarding the most predictable path at the moment? And if he comes up the jump pad, I likely close out the game.
Heavy is continuing to be on the charge here, but it's going to catch him massively.
And unfortunately for him, placing that turret's not going to do jack shit for you. That's just a panic play. It's not even going to work for 2 minutes, for 2 whole seconds. You're not going to be able to place it where you're blocking damage with it. He just needed to try to fight me the whole time. And because it's essentially land there, it's just, I'm not going to miss with LG, and it's over. And that's it.
Waiting for him, daring for him to come up on that heavy jump pad, but surely...
But what he needed to do is to not have the turret pocketed when he's coming back. He had to start, because he kept wanting to use the turret to defend for major items, where, no, you have to be a bit more aggressive when you're coming back, especially against somebody with mobility against you. You have to use the turret in certain situations where, okay, if they go this route, they're going to run into the turret. And hopefully they don't get past it for free. It might slow them down. I can catch them, that type of thing. And he needed to be more unpredictable with placing it in those positions, and he didn't.
There was some good moments throughout the map for Zeneku. However, I do feel that Rapha had the better game plan, the better strategy. It wasn't the cleanest at all times, but when the execution mattered, Rapha often pulled it out.
Certainly did, but this is where Zeneku now is going to have to be full charge here. Or else he's pretty much done for, but I think he already is. Nice little 2-for-1 there, you could say. He's just going to try and clean him up, misses the last rail, but of course the shot is going to do it for Rapha, and that is definitely going to be an absolute win.
It could be tough in this matchup for Strog if Eisen gets the lead at the start, and he could play ultra defensive at heavy, and you can't really push very well. But there are times where you can just use Peeker to help take care of it, and the mobility that you get creates more shot opportunities and potential rushes, like to overwhelm him. It's just Strog is definitely the better one in this match. You will win more often when it's of equal skill. Hey Sirius, what's up? Roof, my phone thought I was talking to Siri. Well, third map would have been pretty even with the Death Knight versus Keel on Deep Embrace, but yeah, I don't know. Playing Eisen wasn't necessarily bad on this map. It's just thankfully it played into my hands that I was able to get Strog. Strog's just really good on ruins against a lot of champs. I think but that also goes into what I explained at the beginning. Like I picked Ranger because I didn't want it to be available as a counter on this map, because Ranger and Strog is pretty even. It's like a very even matchup. Whereas like if that's off the table, like I had explained earlier, I felt very comfortable against his playstyle, like unlike all other champs. And if he had banned it from me instead, it left Athena up potentially for Deep Embrace, which he did not want to leave that up for me. So he decided to get rid of it. Sometimes it's just tough shit.
I still think the scores don't reflect it. I do feel like even though it's a 2-0 victory for Rapha,
and that's part of Zeniku's problem right now, which is okay. It's like it's growing pains. Like he's been getting really, really good. He's been improving a lot, but it's all about like bringing that consistency from game to game. And he made really, really good decisions in the previous map defensively, time and time again, and then just squandered it in overtime. But then on this map, you could, like I said, he made some peculiar pushes, or like the way that he was playing defensively sometimes wasn't right. He wasn't using the turret as well as he was utilizing the spit on the previous map. Like he just wasn't playing at that same consistent level. And you have to be able to win these tournaments, you have to be able to be playing like that game in and game out. You have to. Like everybody is that good. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop there. I'll review what is tomorrow. I'm really hungry, and I have not had lunch yet, and it's about to be fucking 3 o'clock. I'm starving here. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be Wednesday. So tomorrow I'll start. What do I have to review? The winner bracket semis against Racy, the winner bracket finals against Avec, and then the grand finals against Racy. So hopefully I'll be able to get through all of those tomorrow. If not, I'll at least get through the first 2 games. But yeah, I'm done for now. I'll probably be on later for some sort of gaming. I'll play some Quake or some Halo or some shit. Like, I'll do something. But yeah, as for now, that's it from me, everybody. So, I hope you enjoyed.